Hello and welcome to Apex to Oval podcast, your weekly news recap of the previous week. I'm here with my co-host Jack,
Hello.
and I forget if I said my name, but I am Alex. Um, let's get right into the articles from last week. One of the bigger deals earlier in the week was that NASCAR and Anheuser-Busch extended its partnership with a multi-year deal. It was unclear whether how many years it would be, but it was a multi-year deal struck between Anheuser-Busch and NASCAR to keep their partnership together. This is coming the week after um, Xfinity decided not to continue their deal with NASCAR as a title sponsor. So Anheuser-Busch is going to continue that. Um, thoughts, reactions, anything like that?
I think the one thing I'm kind of looking out for is, do we get the return of the Bush series? Which I know
Oh,
people have floated, but Xfinity is dropping as the name partner for the second series, right?
yes, yes, yep.
So
That
we'll
is
see. But if they're picking up their partnership at the same time as other companies might be dropping out, I mean, there will be a space to fill for that next year. So maybe we'll see.
well, you know what? I want the Bush series back. On to our second um article. Wow, that took a long time to process. Chase Briscoe. This is about the race last week. Chase Briscoe netted Toyota their first Daytona 500 pole position. So I thought this was pretty big. Obviously, this pertains to the race. We'll talk about it a little later. Um, but Chase Briscoe and Toyota, their first poles at the Daytona 500. I think that's pretty big news. Briscoe is the fastest in both qualifying sessions on Wednesday to net pole. Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex also secured their spots in the 500 as well, as we know now. Johnson finished third, and Truex finished DNF'd. So, thoughts, reactions to that?
To just to qualifying,
Just qualifying, just
I mean,
Toyota's first ever pole.
I think the main theme I kind of saw with it is that Chevy is no longer dominant in Daytona qualifying, right?
Mhm.
Gone are the days of the 1-2 with Hendrick, where like you know that on a single lap Chevy's going to be the fastest out there, but then kind of compensate for that in the race. Um, but it's nice seeing more variety up there.
Mhm. Yeah. I think it'll be a good season for the manufacturers. So I think it'll be closer during races than it was last season, especially with Kyle Larson absolutely just winning everything up until the playoffs.
I mean,
Um, oh yeah, what?
no, go for it.
Um, I was just gonna move on to the next article. So if you had something to say, okay. Our next article, Kyle Busch to drive 5 races in the Truck Series this year. Those races are Atlanta Motor Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, North Wilkesboro Speedway, Nashville Speedway, and Watkins Glen International. Here's a fun stat that probably every NASCAR fan knew, but I didn't. Busch has the most wins all time in the Truck Series with the 66, as well as the all-time wins leader in the Xfinity Series with 102. The next best, 49 wins, and he also is ninth in Cup Series all-time wins with 63. So,
I am a little surprised that he's going there in a truck next week in Atlanta
yep,
because
yep.
obviously if it were old Atlanta I wouldn't be surprised at all, but with the conversion to being more of a mile and a half super speedway as they called it on the broadcast this week, um
Mhm.
that feels like a race where less like there's less separation with skill, right, in a super speedway race where
Yep.
like there's more of a luck element, there's more of a teamwork element. I would think when you're Kyle Busch and you're trying to measure your few races, you're either going to go for the big prestige tracks, which maybe he still like Atlanta holds a big personal spot to him, or you're going to go to
Mhm.
the mile and a halves or the short tracks where like he can kind of flex the cup muscles if he's still chasing 100 wins.
Yeah.
Because the other
You know,
tracks
if
he's
he
going to,
continues, he might do it.
oh yeah, but it's going to take quite a few years if he can only race five at a time. I don't actually, no, I don't think he's going to get there. think he's close enough to retiring that even if he won every race he was
No,
in,
dude,
it's
he's just
7 years.
once he retires from the cup, he's going straight back to the truck series. He's running full time in the trucks.
You think
I
KBM is
need it.
coming back? Kyle Busch Motorsports?
Kyle Busch
Interesting.
just races full time in the trucks after he retires from the cup. Oh
But the other
god.
tracks that he's at, like Atlanta's a surprising one because Charlotte, that makes sense. And then North
Mhm.
Wilkesboro makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
and Nashville and Watkins Glen also. Like those all check out as far as like you can separate yourself with skill. Atlanta, I don't know why you'd choose it as one of the five, but that might just be me.
I don't know. Maybe he's looking for a challenge. I don't know. Um, On to our F1 news stories. McLaren F1 launched the first car of the 2025 Formula One season. Now, the car that they revealed had this weird, like camo-esque black and orange thing. A lot of people on TikTok and Instagram were like, "Oh my God, this can't be the actual livery." It's not. That will be revealed in F175 later, in a couple of weeks or next week or whenever it is. Um, Williams also made their car, like they promote their car, um, with a livery. Again, probably not the real livery. Also, McLaren also had like all black race suits. Again, probably not going to
Yeah.
be the race suits. Obviously, like there's a reason
If
why
there's if there's
like
no
a lot of these
sponsors
teams
on
are
there, there's no shot that
there's
that's
no
gonna.
sponsors.
Yeah.
There's also like the Williams car. Like there's no way that's the real Haas. Like the Haas car. Again, like most likely the majority of these liveries are going to be shown during F175 during the F175 event. Same thing with the race suits. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, I love the Alpine suits." That might not be the suit, so don't get too attached now because when F175 starts and it's a whole event because it's the 75th year, they're going to show liveries. They're going to probably show race suits, and like it's going to be a whole event. So don't get too attached or don't hate the suits now or the cars liveries now because it's definitely not going to be what it is come F175. But yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that, Jack?
No, I mean, we'll see how it turns out. I think it's funny that McLaren's talking about how big the changes are that they made. Where like,
Yeah.
what are the odds that it comes out and it's just a total like tractor?
I would die laughing. Oh my god. As a Ferrari fan currently, as a new Ferrari fan, I would laugh. Dude, Lewis is easy pickings that championship. That's easy pickings for Lewis Hamilton, like the 8 time, baby. If
It's
McLaren don't come out guns blazing, it's Lewis Hamilton all the way.
I mean, obviously that's not the case because testing
No,
is
it's
advanced
not.
enough that they could figure it out, but it would
Oh
be
yeah.
that would be
I mean,
hilarious.
also Lewis lapped Charles in preseason testing, and then Charles put like what 3 seconds on Lewis. Like it's again, it's not. Yeah. Also, that's the thing. Don't like if you're a Formula One fan and you're like, oh my god, preseason testing, this team was so much faster. Don't look at it. It is not serious at all.
I
Like
mean, even
at one point last, like yeah, I
you
don't know
you can
what.
kind of see a difference even in like practice sessions, but even those you can't really take that much out of times wise
No,
because you
because
don't
there were
know what the
times where
teams are
Lewis was
looking for.
blazing fast and sucked trash in quality. Like
Yeah,
again, it's
you don't
like
know what the different
if you're
teams are
gonna go,
testing, what they're looking at, any of that.
yeah, like practice is more likely going to be more what race is gonna be like because they're doing multiple laps. Like it's not gonna be quality where it's like 2 laps per. So
But
like
even
if you're
then,
gonna look at even then it's a lot different. But like if you're gonna look at like because there were times where like Lewis was rapid during practice last year, sucked during quali, and the race he was unbelievably fast.
yeah,
Like it
well, because you don't
practice
know what
don't
the
mean
teams are
that
looking
preseason
at in
testing
each
doesn't.
practice session.
Yeah,
One team might be
I would
doing
love
like
to
tire
know.
dag, and one team might be doing like practice quali lap type things.
So the drivers could be doing two different things as well,
Oh yeah,
not even just teams. Like yes, like when Charles put like 2 seconds on Lewis, during the last practice session, the preseason testing. It's like, yeah, Lewis might not have been doing quali laps, and Charles could have been doing quali laps.
'Cause I'm
Like,
gonna
it's
tell you,
not
I don't think there's like any set of teammates where one is 2 seconds a lap faster than the other in equal equipment.
Pierre Gasly and Jack Doohan.
Okay, I
Yeah,
don't think there's more than one.
Hulkenberg and Bartoletto. There's another
Nope,
one. I just named two
disagree.
right there.
Disagree.
Hulkenberg is that guy. Don't forget that. All
Okay.
right. Um, Another thing. Tiger is the first ever official sponsor of the Monaco Grand Prix. If you don't know Tiger, they're a watch brand. They sponsor Red Bull Racing.
They're now the
Um,
official time partner, replacing Rolex.
yes, they are the new time partner replacing Rolex, and now they've officially become the first ever sponsor of the Monaco Grand Prix. The Monaco Grand Prix before this year has never had an official title sponsor in its history. Um, that's insane.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't even know
it
what to
would
say
happen
about that.
sooner or
That's just
later, but suddenly we're
yeah,
seeing why that massive Louis Vuitton deal is kind of a big deal. We're
yeah,
we're starting to see more of what it means when they're talking about this huge deal.
yeah. But yeah, like Tiger. You know what's funny? I'm gonna tell a little story. I was in the airport going to Italy for a week, like little like tour for Thanksgiving break, or not Thanksgiving break, spring break one year, last year. And we were in the when we were in the airport, and I go to the Tiger um stand that they have in the airport at the duty free. And I may or may not have wanted to buy the Monaco watch they had there, and I had the money. And I didn't. And I really like their watches. They're good watches. Anyway, final news before we get into the race recap and the next races for this upcoming week. We have the FIA president supporting a 12th team to join the grid. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things that have to go into a 12th team joining the grid, like the F1 teams wanting the team like you saw with Andretti. They didn't want Andretti because they would lose to Andretti, so they allowed Cadillac. It like they don't like allowing new teams on the grid, which sucks. But the FI president Mohammed Ben Salem supports a potential 12th team joining the grid in the future. And then little note, Cadillac is joining the grid as the 11th team next year in 2026. Also, Audi is taking over for Sauber in 2026 as well, but that's not a new team. That's just another team buying out the team. But, you know, I'm going to be honest. I would love to see Porsche. I know it's not ever going to happen again. Like, Porsche was in F1 for like a couple of years back when it first started. It's never happening again. But I just, as a Porsche fan in every other racing series, I would love to see them join F1 because they would kick so much ass. And I would love to see Porsche win a world championship. But I know it's not going to happen. It's going to be like Lamborghini or some crap.
It seems like they're hyper focused on electrification stuff as far as anything new that they'd
Yeah.
be doing.
Yeah. That's why I'm just like, I want it, but it's not going to happen. Like, they're too focused on Formula E. And to be fair, they should be. They were the constructors, or no, were they constructors? I forget if they were constructors, but Whirlwind won the championship last year in Formula E. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, I mean, they were dominant across the different teams. And
Oh
obviously,
yeah, they only lost what one series? I mean
I
that
don't,
they entered last year.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
they almost went perfect in all the series they entered. Because I made a post about it on my TikTok at one point. But
Um, yeah, I mean, it seems like they're targeting what, China with this. They're trying to target another country. Although
I
I don't
believe
know
so.
really how much I buy that, given that like they're citing the U.S. as a market that they wanted to bring in when it seemed pretty
Didn't.
clear like that wasn't really the case or the intent.
Yeah, they did bring Cadillac,
Eventually,
but Andretti still isn't in. Yeah. Who would you want to see though? If let's pose this question: Who would you want to see Doesn't matter if there's no chance in hell. Who would you like to see join as the
A,
co-team in the Formula One
as a
grid?
team,
Yeah, it could be literally anyone, no matter how impossible it is. Who would you like to see?
give me Rick Ware Racing. back back marker NASCAR team. Bad IndyCar
Dude,
team.
dude, imagine they just win a world championship,
Wait,
dog.
they're
I
not.
would
They don't even
laugh.
do IndyCar anymore, right?
I have no clue. Do they?
Oh wait,
Rick, where?
I guess they're partnered with
I
Dale
don't
Coyne.
know.
Because I was gonna say, I thought there was the 51 running.
They're in NASCAR.
Uh
They're
huh.
they're in IMSA. They're in MX5. No, yeah, they're in MX5 Cup. Yeah, I don't think they're in IndyCar. No, it doesn't look like it. No, I
No,
don't think
yeah,
so.
they're still partnered
Are they still in IndyCar?
with Dale Coyne.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, bad NASCAR team, bad IndyCar team. Um, I don't even. I don't actually know how well they do in like sports car stuff. I just know that they run teams there.
dude, did we just put frickin' Hendricks?
But hey, you want to know what manufacturer they run, or at least ran
What?
in some of the sports
What?
car series?
Toyota? Mazda?
Hang on. Oh wait, no, that's an Acura. They're bouncing around. I was gonna say I saw in the Rolex sports car series they were running a number 47 Porsche,
No.
but
You know what? Screw it. You want a team to move in that's NASCAR? Put in Penske Porsche. Best of both worlds, baby. Penske Porsche.
nah, that
Oh
ruins it.
god.
Penske's got to run a different manufacturer in every single series that they're
No,
in.
no, I want Penske. I want Porsche though. That's the thing. Like Penske Porsche, they're really good in IMSA and WEC. I need it. Um, by the way, Penske, if you're looking for a driver, my dad is available. My dad is available. My sister's available, even though she doesn't want to race. Don't care. You know, t- she wants to drive Porsches. Try it. I'm available. I don't know how to drive a race car, but I'm a quick learner. So Penske, if you need a driver, you got one right here. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Um, on to the race recap now. Unless Jack has something to say, you look like you're cooking up a devious smile over there.
No, I just permanently have a devious smile. That's just how I am.
Who is the little friend you have in the back there? The purple cow, a
There,
horse? Yeah,
that is Meadow. It's a squishmallow. It's a giant
yeah, but
squishmallow.
what is the
A
is it
donkey,
an
I
animal?
believe.
Donkey? Oh, interesting. All right, on to the race recap. So here's my little race recap. It's gonna be bad, but who cares? William Byron won on last lap chaos caused by terrorist himself, Cole Custer, wrecking the top three drivers. He's not actually a terrorist, but I do not like how he wrecked three drivers. He wrecked Hamlin, Cindric, and LaJoy, who were the top three in the race,
I
with
mean,
half a lap to go. Um, I solely blame Cole Custer, because his name sounds like custard. Jimmy Johnson came up third place. He started 40th, ended third. He made up 37 places in that race.
okay.
Um, 16 out of the possible 41 drivers DNF. It's a fun stat, including Bubba Wallace. Ryan Blaney made out with the most points in the weekend with 51. Byron had 50 points in total, and Cindric had 48. And Chevy leads the Manufacturers Cup with 40 points. Toyota has 35, and Ford has 30. There was also, do I say what I did yesterday? What I conjured up,
Oh,
or
yeah,
no?
go ahead. Tell that story
Yeah,
and
sure.
then we'll go back into more
So
detail.
So I was on a call with Jack for the final what? Like how many
Like
laps was it?
15 laps.
15 laps, and I'm like, oh, Bubba's not doing too hot anymore. And I'm agnostic, right? I did pray to God, and I did ask if he could have a small wreck to
No,
get
you
Bubba
didn't
up
just
some
ask.
places.
You said, I know I don't believe in you, but just this one time, can there
He
be a
would
caution?
cause a wreck. Can there be a caution?
You know what
And I'm
happens
not.
in real time? Probably like because of a TV delay, it's probably like 5 seconds after the man says this.
Yeah. A caution
Ryan
gets
Priest is
pulled.
upside down.
I didn't. I love Ryan Priest. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for you to get into that accident.
Ryan
I
Priest
I did
heard
not.
these like got these vibes coming from the general direction of his home state of Connecticut. And he was like, I know what must be done.
Oh no.
And he just
Well,
went
Christopher
airborne.
Palatine
He
if you
got the
started that.
spacesuit on.
Yeah, his Twitter profile pictures this like it's the freaking like spacesuit. Anyway, Bubba got back up to 12. And then I said, um, now I'm a Corey LaJoy hater. I will be very open about this. So I ended up asking again, I know I don't believe in you still. Um, but if you could bring out two more cautions and have Corey LaJoy, get wrecked and not get hurt, but DNF, um, I'll go to church this Sunday. Um, and about I don't know, a couple laps later, the first crash happens. The second one that I asked for, the second caution, and Bubba got wiped out in that one. So that made me really sad. And Corey LaJoy was 23rd on the last lap with half a lap to go, and then Cole Custer
It
um,
was Chase Briscoe
body
that hit
slammed him.
him. Um,
Well, technically, I mean Briscoe technically yeah, but Cole Custer tried to close the outside again, like he did with like he tried to close the gap, and Briscoe was already there.
okay.
Anyway,
I'm just
Cole
saying that it was
Custer
Briscoe
still.
specifically that sent LaJoy flying.
Well, yes, yeah, yeah. So Cole Custer caused the accident, and then sent um, crap, I forget his name again. Briscoe into Corey LaJoy at Mach 12, which sent Corey LaJoy flying off the racetrack. Now, I I have to say I am going to church this Sunday because of what transpired on this past Sunday. And I will pray for a good race for Bubba and Denny while I'm at church this Sunday. I have to find a church near me though, but that shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, um, those three big ones, the big one crashes that happened at the end of the race. Um, I do not apologize except to Ryan Priest and Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin and Austin Cindric. Nobody else. By the way, right after I asked God the second time for the next two and Corey LaJoy's head, not head. Um, it happened like literally the next lap, and then the final lap again. So whoopsie.
That's crazy.
I
Um,
did ask.
if you want to kind of press rewind for a second, you want to go back to the duels?
Yes, the duels. Bubba. Oh, fudge. I forgot to put this in. Bubba Wallace, my goat and my favorite driver. Yeah, you got the hat. My favorite driver in NASCAR. Um, he was the first black driver to lead a championship in the history of NASCAR. In Black History Month, too, Absolute cinema. When I'm telling you, I was screaming my ass off when Bubba won that first duel because I was with a friend. He was sitting on my bed. I was sitting in my chair. We get to the final lap. Bubba crosses the line, and I'm not even kidding. I think I touched the ceiling
The
15
way
separate times.
I'm sorry. I'm dying because I still can't get over that you just fully did the like absolute cinema, like the gesture and everything. You had
Yeah.
the you had the form on it.
Yeah. I looked up the GIF earlier today so I could get my form right. Uh,
You were practicing.
but no, genuinely, I was in class. I'm not gonna lie. My 230, my lit and environment class. Hell yeah, I was practicing. Um,
But yeah,
but Bubba
that
did
was
win, and he is the first black driver to lead the championship in NASCAR history.
he's good on the
So
super speedways. He just, you know,
he ran out of luck. He like as you said, I think
well,
last week
yeah,
or
he
something. Super
also
speedways are a lot of luck based.
for whatever reason, the Chevy and Byron behind him, and then him leading, they just could not link up to draft. I
Yeah,
am
Hendrick, build a better car. You know how
I
much money you put in this damn sport, and you can't build a drafting car,
well
Hendricks.
the
What are
chassis
you
on
doing?
Chevy, the chassis on Chevy.
I don't give a damn, Hendrick. You can change that. Like it's just your fault. You could have went with Toyota or Ford, and you went with Chevy.
Oh no, so if you go to
Screw
hendrickcars.com, I
Chevy.
think you'll see why they can't really change their manufacturer. And also the
Is it
fact that
all? Is
they're
it?
just historically incredibly successful.
Is it HendrickCars.com?
Yes, which is
Shit.
where the
Nope, that's
Hendrick
not it
money
yet.
comes from.
Hold up. Wait a minute. It's a car dealership.
Yes, yes, it is.
Is it a Chevy as the first car?
It is a lot of car dealerships.
Oh god damn, 5,800 Chevys.
Porsche inventory is crazy.
Well, let me scroll down. Yeah. Yeah. What are the prices on those? Can I get
First gonna
like
shop for a Porsche in North Carolina. But no, I mean
hold up.
Hendrick's got all kinds of things. They've got all the brands except what they don't have is Ford, and I don't. Oh wait, they do sell Toyotas, I guess.
Sort by price, low to high.
For some reason, I thought they
All
only
right.
sold
So what
Hondas
we're
and
saying is I could buy a Porsche right now, guys. That's all I'm saying. If I just save up a little bit more, I can get a 1999 Porsche 911 Carrera. That's all I'm saying.
oh, all right. Well then, on to the second duel.
Second duel,
Um,
Cindric.
you
No.
were you were real mad about this one, more than I maybe expected. Because this was the
I
first of many
was.
races this weekend that ended under caution. But here they threw the
I
caution like
freaking hate it.
pretty close to the finish line, where Cindric edged out Jones. Cindric edged out Jones uh, right when the caution was thrown, but then Jones beat him to the line because that's what they thought they were racing for. But also it's just the duels, so it's a difference of 1 point in the season standings and 1 row in a notoriously volatile race. So like, I mean, you could see Eric Jones was laughing because he had to drive all the way back, but the drivers didn't mind that much.
He looked so sad in that interview, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he looked like he was on about to cry in that interview. Like, I felt so bad.
Well, it's embarrassing to like be out there
Oh
celebrating
my
and then have
god.
to kind of turn around, like for anyone. But
By the way, that is the dumbest rule I've ever heard in my life. Cut the rule.
why?
What? Red flag it, get another lap in. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
Oh, so
saying.
you
Red
want
flag it, get another
worse
lap in.
overtime rules? Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
I want more racing. So if there's a
Because
caution on the last lap, you flag it and give them one more lap.
that is an incredibly unpopular. People already hate overtimes because you're just
Oh, I don't like it.
manufacturing more cautions and more
Oh, I
crashes
love
for
it. I love
suspense.
the cautions.
So
I
you
love the
you want
cautions. They're
more
fun.
overtimes.
Yeah,
You want
I want more.
infinite overtimes at Daytona.
Oh
You
yes.
want them to be racing until 2 a.m. You want them to go 450 laps.
Oh yeah. I mean, if F1 does it, I mean NASCAR, do it.
F1 doesn't. They're very different situations.
Uh, hey, all I'm saying is I just want you know what? 2021 Abu Dhabi that shit.
So I think here there's a gripe that like you could say that they could have pulled the caution until the finish because they were pretty close to the line.
Yeah.
But in general, last lap cautions, like they're thrown because they need to be thrown. Although I guess we already talked about the main race. That was I was shocked, but like pleasantly
Yeah, there
shocked
should have been a
that they didn't
caution.
throw it at the last lap of the 500.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Is like you can't be so you can't be so inconsistent. If you're
Well,
not gonna
that
pull the caution at the end of the race when half the grid is taken out, don't pull the caution when like three-fourths of the grid is fine and there's a small crack. Like
I'm
when
not
you're
gonna
so close
lie,
to the finish.
I do wonder if that was in response to all the backlash from every other race besides the first duel ending on under caution. Which we haven't
They
talked
could
about
have. They
Trucker
could.
Xfinity yet, but breaking news. Um,
Oh yeah, Klingerman got screwed.
um, but it's it's tough because safety is the priority, and you've got to throw a
Yeah.
caution because like even at Daytona where the field's pretty bunched up in the draft, but especially you think about other tracks where their drivers spread out all across the track. If someone's on the track like crashed, you need to throw a caution. You cannot have people continue racing even if it's just
Mhm.
to the line because someone might like there's still going to be people behind where the crash is. And then you're going
I.e.
to have people
Arca this
racing for
past
position
weekend.
through where they're like people are going to get hurt.
I.e. Arca. We can talk about that too. That was
Yeah.
abysmal.
All right.
Did you see? Oh, hold on. Okay, actually, screw it. Let's move on to Arca real quick. Let's get through Arca, Truck, and
Let's
Xfinity
go
real
up the
quick.
series
Arca,
in skill order.
yeah, revert, yeah. So Arca, did you see? So obviously on the last lap, or after the lap was done, after the race was done,
Yeah, right past the start
some
finish.
idiot, yeah, some idiot ran
Just
into the man.
torpedoed Elio into the wall.
Yeah,
Entire
and
front
I'm
end
not
off
gonna
that car.
lie, like he was a guest. Like what, bro? And then, like, also when people are heading into the pits, one of the drivers torpedoed into the a driver slowly, like he went full throttle into one of the guys who was going into the pits and smacked them hard. Like they claim brake failure. I'm sorry. I don't care if you have brake failure or not. Why are you going into the pits when you have brake failure? Take another lap. It
I mean,
wasn't
that's
brake failure, that second one. There's no way.
I mean, in general, like obviously we don't until you see like the SMT data, although I don't even know if they have data for ARCA because I can't bring myself to care that much about watching ARCA week to week because it's kind of a mess. Um
Oh, I get to. I hate it.
but we don't know what's really going on with the car, but what we do know is that ARCA is always a mess and it's really frustrating to me that they put it on main Fox.
Oh yeah, that was
it's
stupid.
it's never
No, that was
not
dumb.
frustrating to me when
That
ARCA gets like promoted heavily because it is such a terrible product a lot of the time that
hmm
like it actually just hurts the top
Well, I
three
get to go
NASCAR
to an
series.
ARCA race in person in like June. I'm so hyped,
It's
dude.
at
I'm
Lime
so
Rock, right?
excited to. Yeah, it's at Lime Rock. I'm so excited
There are
to
going to
go
be
to
like
ARCA at
14
Lime Rock.
cars. There are going to be like 14 cars there, and they're just going to be sending it into a barrier every other lap. Ugh.
Bro, I've driven at Lime Rock on like the sim, and my dad and my sister race there sometimes. Bro, when I'm telling you, they are not making some of these turns at Lime Rock. They're not going to.
Well,
They're going to go onto the grass and go up in the air.
No, they will, but you are going to see some stupid stuff along with it.
It's going to be terrible. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be
Um,
great.
but
The other thing
anyway,
is you can't see
in
like
ARCA,
yeah. Anyway,
the most important part, the winner was Butterbean Queen, rocking the mullet,
yeah, Butterbean.
going to Waffle House to celebrate with some chocolate milk.
This is gross.
That
I didn't know someone
that
was named
victory
that.
celebration, that interview. I mean, the reporter like asked a question, like tried to lead into like kind of not a bad lead in at all, like really tried to lead him into an answer. He didn't hear a word of it and he just started going. It was something. But that did make up for a lot of the rest of it. And poor Elio couldn't
Butterbean.
he couldn't escape any kind of crash. That was like
Oh, dude, Helio
the
got
one after the race was like his sixth
fudged
incident of the
over.
day. And it's not like any of them
Yeah,
were
and then
like,
he went into NASCAR. Then he went to the Cup race and got like wrecked 3 separate times there.
well, and this is
Not to
after
mention
he
the
got
dual
wrecked
race,
in
he
his
got
duel.
wrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got wrecked in the duel, dude. Dude, he was not having a good time. I can already tell you that man was not having a good time at all during any of that. First off, what series is he racing? Is it Indy?
Yeah, he's IndyCar. Yeah.
Okay. Why is he racing in ARCA in the first place?
Uh because he hadn't raced at Daytona before.
You get the duel.
Okay. You got to
You
get
didn't
laps
need to
on the
do an ARCA.
like
No, not ARCA. Go to trucks. Go to Xfinity. Don't do
okay,
ARCA.
that is an actually like good point, but like if he decided he
ARCA's
wanted
the
laps
worst
for
option.
practice and he still said that they were useful.
To be fair, yeah, like obviously laps are useful, but ARCA is just
Yeah, ARCA is
when
kind of a
when
mess.
truck and Xfinity are the same weekend, you're going to ARCA. That's what I don't get. Anyway, on to the truck.
Trucks.
Jack, would you like to? Because I fell asleep halfway through the race because I was so tired. Would you like to cover trucks real quick?
I mean, I'll just go straight for the big story here, which is I guess we don't really know who won, right? So time of the race, Parker Kligerman
Yeah.
wins, beats out Corey Heim. Um, of course, Kligerman, a Connecticut native. Connecticut started the weekend high, and then it all went downhill.
Dude, it started high and then ended high. Well, not really ended high because like Priest got destroyed, but Yukon won.
It's true. The
They beat
Yukon
South
women won.
Carolina.
The Yukon men lost one of the
They
worst losses in a long time.
oh yeah that no
Um,
we don't talk about the Yukon men this year, but the Yukon women are doing great.
but yeah. So then Kligerman, after the race, got disqualified for failing heights in the rear. Although both after the race, he and his team said they were going to appeal on the broadcast because, of course, this is like the second time in a few months that he gets DQ'd after a win and then has to go broadcast the sport the next day. Um, he seems really confident that they're going to win that appeal and have the win be restored. We won't find that out until later in the week, so that'll be something we get to talk about next week. But interested to see where that one goes and why they think they're so confident.
Yeah, I hope Klingerman can do it for Connecticut's sake.
But for now, Corey Heim
Or
won, which is it's good to see. He should probably be back in Xfinity
he
this
should
year
be
slash in
he should be in
Xfinity, but
Xfinity.
funding
Yeah,
is funding, I guess.
yeah. I hate it. All right, on to Xfinity. Harrison Burton is back in Xfinity where he belongs. No reaction to that, Jack.
I mean, you're saying this, and yet Cole Custer just went back up to Cup after a
All
couple
right,
years in
we
Xfinity.
don't got to talk about Cole Custer on this. No, um, Jesse Love won the Xfinity race at Daytona and proceeded to absolutely take over my For You page with his posts. I'm not even kidding. He wins Xfinity race. Not even like an hour and a half later, 5 TikToks in a row are just straight Jesse Love content.
He's
He'll
good.
take it.
He's good.
He's funny. He's
And he
funny.
will be good. Like
Yeah.
he's not far removed from absolutely dominating Arca, which isn't the highest bar to clear, but it is a bar that you have to clear. Um,
Mm.
and so,
And he's only
it's
20.
good to see him running well.
He's only 20. But Harrison Burton's down. Ryan Truex didn't do too bad. I mean, he was 17th.
That's
Is
super
that
speedway
Austin
racing,
Hill?
though.
It
There's
is.
only so much you can
Austin
really
Hill.
say about finishing order.
Yeah, but race was all right. Yeah, that was about it.
I mean, again, another one that ended under caution, right? So
Yeah,
that's
and
just
then
Daytona. That
back.
seems to be what
Yeah,
NASCAR wants. They want the
yeah,
overtime system, and then the way it's incentivized,
and
every race at Daytona, it feels like is going to end under caution because someone's going to push it a little too
and
hard to try to get that win, to try to get that playoff spot, right? Because just
mhm.
making the playoffs, and for a lot of teams, Daytona is the only track they get a chance at it, right? Like he didn't cause the
Well,
crash, but the Corey
also,
LaJoys of the world in a Rick Ware car, that's the best he's going to run all year.
yeah,
So like
and he
that's why
crashed.
those teams take risks, right? Because if you can send it, make it
Yeah,
stick, that is season changing, that is organization changing for a long time. And the way NASCAR sets up the incentives, if you crash everyone, so what?
damn. Um, back to the Cup Series though. William Byron won the Daytona 500 the same way, the second year in a row, baby, back to back. He won the same way he won last year, and he may or may not be the fifth driver ever to win back to back Daytona 500s. So
Yeah. Um, one more thing I'd love to talk about the 500 itself.
yes,
So was I kind of lucked out with the way the rain delay shook out because I had some band obligations that I had to do
I did
for school
not. I
basketball
was
games.
watching the entire thing,
So
all 8.5 hours.
I got back right in time, like 5 minutes before green flag, after the rain delay.
So lucky.
So, do you want to
Missed
tell us
nothing.
about your experience watching the delay broadcast? Even like for all the hours,
Oh, it was.
despite knowing that the race
Oh
wouldn't
my
resume
god, it
for
was
hours?
so great. Oh my god, it was so great. I love the delay. Like I hate that it was delayed, but I love the delayed. You had drivers just like walking around, like they brought drivers to the freaking booth for God's sake. Like the interviews. I am off. What's his name? Oh no,
Carson Hocevar?
hold up. Yes, I'm not a Carson Hocevar fan. His interview was so funny. He called someone ugly on live television. It was great.
I love Hocevar. I do
Hocevar is
wish, like
hilarious.
seeing the clips of his stream, I do wish that I was watching that stream, man. Music blaring. He was driving backwards and calling it Kyle Busch Simulator. I was like,
Shoot, that is, yeah. I love Carson Hocevar so much
he
now.
was just
That was
having a
that that
time.
that interview, that interview, and then the stream just made my day. It's like,
He's one of those drivers that's big on social media too. Like I don't know if you see
yeah.
what's it called? Icy Vert, the NFL account
Oh
on
God,
like
is it the guy
Twitter.
that like I kept roasting for his NFL takes at one point? I don't
Maybe. I
know.
don't know.
Yes, I
I mean
think it
he's an
was,
Eagles
but
fan,
yeah.
but last
Yes,
year
that is the same person. Okay, yeah.
last year he kind of blew up for posting like I got chills with the like cars finish next to the actual like three-way like photo finish in NASCAR.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
that
yeah.
started an arc where he like sort of became a NASCAR influencer.
Yeah.
Carson Hocevar
That was
being
on
one of the more
Docs.
active drivers on social media was um I think either no, I don't think it was Hocevar that took him out to a race, but definitely like interacted with him a bunch, which is the kind of thing where
Yeah.
like Hocevar's invested in growing the sport, right? He's
Yep.
he's on social media, but not in like an old, he does his podcast and then interacts with the occasional troll way that like, maybe a Denny is. And Denny, like I
Hmm.
I give him credit for being as active as he is. Um,
Hmm.
but it's definitely different from someone that can more relate to the majority of like a Twitter audience.
Yeah.
And Hocevar
I love
is he's
Osavar.
one of the few cup drivers that really can play the social media game well. Um, and you know, he is popular and he will be more popular, especially if he ends up in a better ride than Spire, or if Spire really, we can't tell from Daytona, but they've invested. We'll see if they can pick it up this year.
I do have to say though, he's like for F1 fans, he's like Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Alex Albon, and George Russell combined during COVID. That's Carson Hocevar.
He just looks like George Russell.
Yeah, he did. Oh
He's also the
God,
tallest driver in
no.
the Cup Series. I know we were talking
Yeah,
about, speaking of F1, and we were talking during the race about Cindric being 6'3". I believe Hocevar is 6'4", which makes him the tallest active driver, I think,
dude, he's 3 inches taller than George Russell, Alex Albon, and Esteban Ocon
combined.
combined. Yes.
Sorry.
But yeah, like also Lando's stream the other day. It was I loved his stream the other day. He streamed a couple days ago. It was great. Good
But
vibes.
anyway, drivers
You
on
have to
social
get him
media,
stream
good.
often.
Drivers Twitch streaming and
Good.
stuff, good. As long as you don't,
Unless you don't Kyle Larson it.
yeah, please don't. But
Don't do that.
other than that, good.
But social media good. Um, all right, on to our races for the upcoming race or upcoming weekend. On Saturday, February 22nd at 1:30, you have the NASCAR Truck Series race at Atlanta. At 5 o'clock that
Yippee.
same day, you have the Xfinity race at Atlanta. And on Sunday, you have the NASCAR Cup Series and Better Health 400 at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Um,
More super speedway racing.
Super Speedway. It's not
Although
going to
by
be as
virtue of this one
chaotic
being a
as
mile and a half, there is a little
yeah.
more
It's not
like
going to
kind of skill expression here, where like
yeah.
you do tend to
It's not
see
going to be
certain
as chaotic.
drivers more up front more consistently at Atlanta, it feels like.
Bubba,
Not necessarily. I don't think he's as good here
dang it!
as Daytona and Talladega. But
Darn.
but maybe. But it is still a
I
super
hope
speedway,
Bubba
which means we're gonna get cautions, we're gonna
Hamlin
get
wins.
draft stuff. It's gonna be, it can be the best type of racing you've ever seen. For a lot of this Daytona 500, it was three wide. It was actually really entertaining watching the runs come and go. But then those
Yeah,
cautions and the boneheaded moves and the like wiping half the field in a single incident, it just it can be so aggravating. But
yeah.
clearly they want more of it since they redid Atlanta a few years ago.
Oh yeah. So we'll see. Who do you have to win the Cup Series race? Do you have any predictions?
It's boring, but give me William Byron. Um,
Back to back. Really? You got William Byron.
yeah,
I have I'm gonna write predictions below this.
he
Predictions.
won. He's won there not last year, but each of the 2 years before that. Um, and I just think that coming off this win, I mean, it's not going to be easy, but it seems like the Chevys, the Hendrick cars tend to run well there. Although I guess last year
Hmm.
the winners were a Penske and a Trackhouse car, but
You know what? Give me Bubba. He's
all
gonna
right.
come back with vengeance. He's good at drafting. Give me Bubba.
Would that be hang on.
What?
The Atlanta reconfiguration was new for 2022, right? Yeah. Okay. So you're saying that Toyota's going to win for the first time since they changed the track. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah, Bubba's gonna win.
All right.
He's gonna come back with a vengeance, and Bubba's gonna win. Mark my words. All
Um
right.
I want to do something else. And maybe we can expand this in a future week.
Yes.
But I want you to pick someone who's going to be in the top 10 that wouldn't normally. Like not like someone that's not on one of the favorite teams. It's kind of too early this year to get a true like read on who, like let's say a guy, I mean, I'll use Bowman as an example to throw in where like maybe he's disappointing relative to other Hendrick drivers at times. But someone who wouldn't typically be expected to be in the top 10 that gets a top 10 here.
who are your like top teams? Who would you consider a top team?
I mean, count like a Hendrick, a Penske, a JGR, probably a Tyler Reddick at least, if not a Bubba. Um,
Oh,
but like for instance, I'll pick. You know what? Talking about the Hocevar bandwagon, I'll pick Carson Hocevar for this. Where like he's running for Spire, that's not considered one of the top teams necessarily, but like
wow.
on a good run, especially at a track like this, you sneak into the top 10, maybe.
What would you what would you consider Trackhouse?
It kind of depends on the track, it feels like. Um,
Okay,
but
so what about for
who would you
Atlanta?
pick for it?
I would pick SVG.
Interesting. No, that definitely counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pick
So I was gonna say,
SVG.
like, if it's Chastain, that might be hit or miss because he can run really well. Suarez, like, I think fits in that bucket. SVG definitely fits in that bucket.
Yeah. I'll
Where
pick
like,
SVG.
so you're picking a good run from SVG this week.
Good one from SVG. And my winner's Bubba.
All right.
All
I
right.
that would be fun. Look, that would be something. Seeing SVG have success on an oval, seeing Bubba finally get a win, and it's not during the playoffs when he's already out of the playoffs. Um,
God, I hate it.
would be lovely.
All right. I would love to see Bubba win. All right. That will be it for today. Do you have any closing remarks?
Roll skis.
Roll skis. Thank you guys for watching your weekly news recap for motorsports. This is Alex. That is Jack. And we are Apex. So.